A victory lap is what you do when you've finished something and you're ready to celebrate. We have finished a very focused session of unconstrained nonlinear programming stuff, so let's do a partial victory lap. Let's take a look at the documentation for the SciPy optimize minimize functions. So first, there's minimize scalar, and there's something called Brent's method. We've learned about that. Bounded, we haven't learned about, but we've also learned about golden section. So 2 out of the 3 isn't bad for that kind of one-dimensional line search kind of thing. And then for multivariate optimization, let's take a look here. We've got, talks about the Hessian. We've learned about that. Their use of Jacobian is a little interesting here. That actually means the gradient of the objective function. You can see the gradient as a special case of the Jacobian. The Jacobian is kind of the set of first derivatives of a vector-valued function. If the vector-valued function only has one dimension to its output, then it's scalar-valued, and then you get the gradient. So it's just a little weird they didn't call it gradient there. Of the following methods, which have we seen? Well, we've talked about BFGS, that's that quasi-Newton method. We've talked about limited memory BFGS, and then the B here means box constrained, so that's the simplest kind of constraints you can have, like x1 has to be between this and this, x2 has to be between that and that, x3 has to be between this and this, and so forth. We've at least heard of trust region methods, although we didn't talk about them very much other than mentioning they exist. CG stands for conjugate gradient, which is a method that's fancier than steepest descent, but not as derivative intensive as Newton's methods, kind of in the middle there. If we were doing a PhD level class in nonlinear optimization, we would spend a little bit more time on conjugate gradient. And then there's a Newton combined with conjugate gradient method, but at least we've heard of Newton's method. Let's take a look here. We just talked about all that. Let's see. Apparently I'm not the only person who had trouble with conjugate gradient methods, because someone wrote a paper with an interesting sounding title here. So if you're curious, you can go look that up.